Howdy everybody. So this is a video that every once in a while I get energized to make, and I've shot a lot of footage for it, but I kind of lose interest in doing it because it's kind of it's a sticky situation. It's a sticky subject. I see some of the worst stuff on Facebook, and I recently seen a farm posted a bunch of pictures of a vet disbudding all of their kids that year, and there's like 20 goats, and they sedated all of them. The vet used an electrical disbudder that didn't even have a complete circle. It like went down and looped around and came back up. She was barely burning the hair off of their heads and stuff, and I see stuff like this, and this is what energizes me to make a disbudding video. Now, I'm going to say this, and this may inflame a lot of people, but a veterinarian has been the leading killer of our goats. We have sold more goats to people who then turn the care over to a vet who then kills the goat. This is something that I ran into researching goats when we first started. And the books that I have about goats talk about how there's very little actual scientific research on goats because they're not, in this country, cattle and horses are the big money makers for vets. Most vets learn mostly about cows and horses and then pets. Goats aren't that. That's why cows did so well in this country, because it's more bang for the buck. It's a bigger animal, it's worth more money. So unless the vet has goats themselves, that's our rule. Like, we don't listen to vets unless they have goats themselves, because we know that they didn't learn very much about goats specifically in their training. Okay, so I'm going to use all footage that I already have. I'm not going to film any more of this debudding. Is it debudding or disbudding? Anyway, my babies. So this is it. I'm not here to discuss whether you should have horns or not. This is for people who have made the decision, and we know that you put a lot into this decision. So we're not here to judge anybody. Okay, let's give it a shot. So here my yearlings demonstrate how beautiful a hornless herd can be. In this video, we're going to show you how to do this for yourself on your own, and you'll never have to worry about getting somebody else to do it for you again, and you'll always be able to do a good job. Okay, so let's jump right in. You should be looking at debudding your baby goats around 4 or 5 days old. 7 days is a little bit too old. You're trying to get there before the horns erupt, although I will add a caveat here that oftentimes if the baby just is too small overall in general, we will let them go a few days past that, as long as the horn itself doesn't erupt and get too big. So one of the first things that we recommend is trimming the hair off around the area that you're going to be burning. That there can sometimes be a lot of hair, and that hair can take up a lot of energy from the iron, and that detracts from the quality of the debudding itself.
That's there. All right.
Here is something we recommend practicing. watch carefully how Naomi does this. We have practiced this for years, and Naomi has always been the holder, and I have always handled the iron.
Ready? Right, camera ready.
This is a very specific holding technique, and prevents movement the best we can do.
Hot iron. Yep.
Probably one of the best tips, and also the biggest mistakes that is made during debudding is not having a hot enough iron. It was a cowboy from the Silver Spur in Saratoga that gave us the tip of using a torch to finish off this electric iron. You really want this to be just short of turning red hot. Right as it starts to turn red hot, it's hot enough. It won't get that way on its own with just the electric. So if you're at this point, you should be coordinated with your partner that's holding the goat, and they should be ready with your trimmed up goat kid outside the door. And when you're ready, say ready. And this will cue your partner to do this, and give her a few seconds to do that, and she will say ready. And then as soon as she says ready, you will turn your torch off and come out. So don't mess around at all here. Seconds count. When you turn your torch off and the baby's down, go right to it. If you delay in touching that iron to the goat, it's going to detract from the overall quality. Okay, so watch here as everything kind of comes together. Pay close attention to Naomi counting. It's one of the most important jobs here, and I didn't trust myself to do it, so it's always been Naomi's job as well. 10 good long counts. Okay. Loosen up. Oh, don't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's pretty good. I could do a little better in the back, but that's good.
Okay, so we just stuck an 800 to 900 degree iron on this kid's head and held it for 10 seconds. We wanted to burn the nerves down to the skull. So after we do this, the most important thing we want to do is let the kid cool down and let the iron heat up again. I recommend at least 15 minutes minimum, preferably more of a half an hour, and then touch it off again with the torch like you did in the beginning. With a cool kid and a hot iron, reverse the holding pattern to the other leg and repeat. I don't necessarily recommend the oscillating that I'm doing there. That's a bad habit that I developed after missing some spots, not hitting it all the way around. But I find it more detrimental than just to hold it in one place. Okay, so now that you got the worst thing that you're ever going to have to do to a goat over with, you can simply give the goat a half a bottle or something. Or if there's some kind of trauma or slippage or some cracking and bleeding or blistering, all of which happen occasionally, but if that happens, you can give them some Banamine or something. It is definitely not recommended to sedate a goat. They don't have a good record of coming back from sedation, and you definitely don't want to shut their system down in such a manner before you inflict such a trauma as these kind of burns on them. So at the most, a little bit of Banamine for the pain, but for the most part, if you just give them a half a bottle when you're done, within 5 minutes, these kids will be bouncing around and playing and completely forgiving you, and they don't hold any grudges or anything, not even later in life or anything. So you can pat yourself on the back. You've done you've done a good job, and it's not that goat's not going to be having scurs later in life. Okay, we got Satyr. Hi, Satyr. We got Mana and Jaw. Jaw's gonna probably chatter the whole time I talk here. So most of the footage that I'm gonna use in this video was shot with some folks named Brad and Jenny, and their farm is Forest Hill, I believe. Check them out if you're in the Goldendale area. They have wonderful animals, and they're very interesting people. But they brought some kids over for us to debud, and so I threw the camera in Brad's hands, and so most of the footage that we're using is from that, and that was from last year, maybe even the year before. But anyway, thank you, Brad and Jenny. Thank you, Forest Hill, for the opportunity, and thank you for being my cameraman.